We're here at the Ultimate DECA Power Trip in Washington, D.C., and I'm joined right now with Ashley Elmore, who is actually a DECA advisor and was a contestant on The Bachelor and The Bachelor Pad. So thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So how long have you been involved in DECA?
This is actually my 7th year as
Really?
a marketing teacher and 7th year as a DECA advisor.
Okay,
So.
and so you were on The Bachelor for season 14, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That was with Jake Pelvecka.
Okay.
He was known as being the flight attendant pilot, and he was one who chose Vienna.
Oh.
The controversial
Oh
choice.
boy, okay. And so when were you, what time frame was that you were filming?
Last year was when all the filming occurred, and they filmed it in October, and it aired in January of this year. And then the second show, The Bachelor Pad, filmed over the summer. So I didn't have to take off work. My students were on break and filmed it. And then that aired in August of 2010. So it just finished being on TV.
So very recently then.
Very recently.
So can you tell me a little bit more about The Bachelor Pad? What exactly is that versus the difference from The Bachelor?
Well, with The Bachelor, they've had 14 seasons of The Bachelor, so it's been quite successful. Okay. They've found a way to market the show, so it's really withstood the test of time. It's generated 10 million viewers 14 times and 6 bachelorettes. So they've done 20, and they figured, why not do like an all-star type of show where they bring cast members back? So for Bachelor Pad, they looked at it from a marketing standpoint and thought, we've had 20 seasons, fans love some of these cast members, let's bring them back and put them all in a house together. So it was bringing back their 25 most memorable characters.
Oh, wow.
And when they called me, I was like, wait, do you have the wrong number? Like, why are you calling me to come back? But we went back and we filmed it, and it was all these athletic and mental challenges, and competed for $250,000.
Wow.
So it was very interesting.
Wow. So how did you do in The Bachelor Pad?
I did very well. I was on 5 out of the 6 episodes, and got sent home right when I thought that I was going to have a shot at winning the money. But
so 5 out of 6, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And, the show was a little bit more racy than The Bachelor, and I didn't participate in some of the contests because of my career and because teaching's so important and because I want to be a good role model. So I think ultimately that contributed to me getting sent home.
Yeah.
And if I had to do it again, I would make the same decision. Well, I'm glad that I opted out of stuff.
Really?
I'm glad that I backed out of contests because my students still respect me and view me as a good role model.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So in reality TV, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that we don't really hear about that actually go on. So what have you really learned about reality TV that most of us don't know?
Reality TV is a production. It's just like any sort of TV show they're filming. So things are going to go on, and they're going to need you maybe to re-say it because your mic failed, or the camera lighting missed something, and they're filming a show. So sometimes you do have to do a couple of takes of something.
Yeah.
Other things that people at home probably don't know is they think we're crazy. They're watching the show, we're crying, we're laughing, we're yelling, we're fighting, and you really think we're crazy, but it's not that we're maybe so crazy, or it's just the situation. You're in a situation where you're far away from your family and friends, you have no phone, no communication with the outside world, no television, no radio, hardly any clocks, you're getting no sleep. So all these factors are coming into play that are making you really emotional and crabby, and I think that a lot of that is strategic. They know as producers that when you're angry or when you're crying that you make better TV and you make more ratings. So I feel like there's a lot of behind the scenes marketing that people at home don't know about.
So speaking of marketing, now that you've mentioned that, how do you feel that reality TV is marketed to viewers today?
Well, I think that they definitely market in a way that it's drama-filled and exciting. And, when The Bachelor first started airing, it was about love. And The Bachelor seasons now, it's more about, all the other exciting stuff, the catfighting and, the crying. And I think they're very smart about marketing it to consumers, not just through your typical channels of distribution like TV and print, but they also market it in subtle ways, like by collaborating with Six Flags and having amusement park dates there. And, consumers are, watching something about Six Flags and they see Bachelor stuff, and they get drawn in. There's all sorts of creative outlets they're utilizing.
So speaking of sponsors, are there a lot of sponsors that actually go into The Bachelor, like things like that? Like you mentioned Six Flags, but I mean products that are used in The Bachelor. I'm sure maybe the cars are sponsored or things like that. True. Really, what kinds of sponsorships are there involved?
Well, you mentioned the Six Flags and cars, which are two big ones. Other ones, hotels and resorts.
Really?
There was on Bachelor Pad a big resort in Las Vegas. The Mirage collaborated with us and gave us free rooms and suites in exchange for being on TV. And it benefits both parties if you think about it. So those are big ones. Also clothing. Really? Neil Lane is a jeweler. You might not know it as much as a girl would, but girls like our jewelry and our diamonds, and they give diamonds. They give the engagement rings for the show.
Really?
Yeah. So they get, all the publicity of being on TV and showing their diamonds, but the Bachelor gets their diamond ring. So it works. So that's another big one. All sorts of resorts and clothing. When I arrived at The Bachelor and Bachelor Pad, both of them, they had suitcases, and they come swag bags. And what that means is it's all sorts of free stuff for me. Free bathing suits, free gowns, free shorts, free jewelry, and it was designer stuff. So, for instance, True Religion jeans, there would be 4 of them in my bag for me. Really? Only because True Religion wanted me to wear their brand on TV.
Wow.
So that, big sponsor there, designer sunglasses, and just, it was worth it for those companies to give us free stuff in exchange for advertising.
Oh, yeah. So do you feel like those sponsorships kind of created the image of the people that they wanted on the show, or how much of your true self do you feel was really portrayed on the show, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Right. I feel like that with a TV show, they're going to brand you. Again, another marketing term that we know a lot about. They're going to figure out, do I want this person to be the villain or the nice girl? And they will show every example of you being that way that fits that mold. So your true self isn't always portrayed. If they decided they wanted me to be the nice, innocent teacher, they're only going to show me doing nice, innocent things, which is good. But someone like Wes, who was notorious for being a villain on the show, they are only going to show the times he's being, deceitful or a little bit cranky. So your true self always doesn't shine through. It will be bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people get to know me and talk to me, they're like, wow, we had no idea that you were funny or that you were nice or, we just kind of thought, I get all the time people thought I was sort of boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because on the show, they didn't really show a whole lot of me and would kind of just show me saying one little segment. So they do pick and choose what they want.
So they kind of make you into what they want everybody to see. Do you think that plays any part of being eliminated in it, or does that...
I would imagine if you're not exciting, if you're kind of boring, you're not going to stay around as long.
Yeah.
Because think about it, it's a business. We're looking for ratings. And if I'm not a character that's going to bring out ratings, what would you want me there for?
Exactly.
So I don't know if that has a part of it. But if I was a producer, I would keep around the people that would draw in my crowd, that would keep my target market viewing.
Definitely. So it's definitely a business rather than just
business.
Reality.
Absolutely. And that's why some shows I think are more successful than others because they're better at marketing it. They're better at getting those viewers hooked. And The Bachelor gets their viewers hooked.
Really?
And, other things that they'll do besides just having the TV show, they'll do interactive stuff after the shows. Their website, they're constantly updating pictures. They have games on their websites where you can go on and play rose games where you're predicting who's going to get a rose the next week. I've seen people play Fantasy Bachelor, just like fantasy football.
Really?
Where you draft your players. Yeah, you draft your team of girls, and you have money on it. And if your girls stay around longer, you can win.
Really?
So they have all sorts of interactive stuff that keeps viewers hooked.
Wow.
Beyond just the TV show. So it's very strategic. It's smart.
That's a lot of things that I didn't even know about television. Yeah, it's a whole nother business.
Exactly.
Is there anything, we talk a little bit about the marketing, things inside the show. Is there anything about the television industry, entertainment industry that you learned that you'd want to share with some of our viewers?
Absolutely. I learned about all the careers that are involved in TV.
Really?
I just figured you have your camera people and the people that make the show. I never dreamed that there was this many opportunities for jobs and for, to teach my students about. Of course, you have the producers that make the show, but you have all sorts of other industries. You have sound people that specialize in that. You have people that are just there to make the house look pretty, called the art department. And so, for instance, The Bachelor gives roses, right? The art department will look at hundreds of roses and pick the best ones for the show.
Wow.
Because if you give me a rose and it's all wilted and dead, that's not the image you want to have,
Exactly.
right? You have people just responsible for keeping the house looking nice. You have people responsible for designing the dates. You have people responsible just for looking after us. They're called a personal handler, and
Really?
their only job is to make sure that I don't disappear.
Oh my goodness.
So there are just so many opportunities that if you're interested in that industry, that, I would say go intern, go work for something like that, go learn about all the careers. And it was definitely educational to me. I had no idea.
Really? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us.
so
It's a lot
much.
of great
I appreciate
information.
it.
Thank you. From DECA Direct, I'm Ryan Dick.